I welcome you all for the data structure class. So in the last video I've seen with what is the definition of hashing and which are the different ways of hashing. So next we'll see with which are the different types of hashing techniques you are having. Okay, that is static hashing and dynamic hashing. As the name static it tells, it is the fixed size of the storage is fixed, it is not changing. Okay, so mainly we are using linear probing and chaining. As the size is fixed, this hence this can be, as the size is fixed, what happens, there is a chance of overflow or collision. Okay, how efficiently we can handle that we can see. Okay, so next is the dynamic hashing. This is the hashing technique in which the size is not fixed, it can be grow or it can be shrinking. Okay, example for this is what extendable hashing. It can place more number of records as you add the data. Okay, the size of the memory is not fixed. In static it is fixed, in dynamic it is not fixed. Next, as you've seen in the static hashing, there is chance of overflow. Then how it can be overflow happening, so then how it can be resolved. Okay, overflow. For example, if you want to place any records, the whatever the address you generate, if they generate the same address location, then they leads to what, collision. So the collision problem. So how that is nothing but what, overflow of the records, because if the both address are referred to the same location, then where you can store, so that problem we are calling it as what, collision. How it can be reduced? So collision can be reduced in the two ways. One is open addressing, that is linear probing method, and next one is the chaining. So in the open addressing method, what happens, if I generate the address location, for example, see there, 1298 both can generate the address location 98, but 98 already, if you occupied one record, next record also if you generate the 98 location, then what happens, we search for the next available empty location, so there our records is stored. So hence 1298 you stored at the 98 location, and 1398 you stored at the next available address location, that is 0. So hence you are storing that value where, into the 0th location. Okay, so this is what happens if you go with the static hashing. The size of the memory is fixed, address locations are fixed. So if you generate the address with the same locations, then first record you store that location, next collision record, what you do, you store the next empty location, so there that record is stored. So hence it is known as what, open addressing or linear probing. See here example, 1298 you generated the address value 98, and 99th value you are having a 1299. Next 1398 you cannot store on 98 because it is a collision. Next available address location is what, 0, hence you are storing 1398 at the 0th location. So this is how we can avoid the collision problem. So next one is the chaining method. As the name is the chaining, you can avoid the collision by in the form of a linked list. So how it can be performed. For example, if you generate the address to the same location, for example, if you generate the address to the same location like 2, so if you already occupied one record, next you are chaining that in the form of a linked list, and next record is added to that location itself if it is the same address location. Hence the name is what, chaining method. Okay, so here you go on linking to the records into the same address location in the form of a linked list, in the form of a links, so that we can avoid the collision. So as the problem with the static hashing method. Okay. So next, how you can perform the address calculation sort, okay. So as you've seen, with the hashing technique, so you can easily insert the data elements into the available address locations. So you can easily calculate the addresses because you are having a hashed values, so that the records can be easily extracted, and you can also perform the sort operations. Okay, so this is about the hashing technique and hashing operations and collision resolution. So in the next class we'll see with concepts of file. What do you mean by file, how you are arranging the file and all. Okay, so in the next introduction class we can see the doubts of the previous classes, and then we'll conclude, probably in 2 to 3 videos we'll concluding this fifth module. Okay, thank you.